Okay, I wish this was satire. I wish it was parody. I wish we could ignore it, as one or two people have suggested in the last few days, that we can stop being distracted. You don't have to be distracted. You can describe the appalling policies that are being enacted. You can describe the abandonment of Ukraine. You can describe the sycophantic attitude towards Vladimir Putin, the United Nations resolutions, the vote that the United States cast with Vladimir Putin's Russia. Yesterday's comment that he will welcome oligarchs, Russian oligarchs who've robbed their own country blind into the United States of America if they pay enough money. All of that you can do, but you can't ignore something like this. So the opening scene is a child crouched in the rubble of what purports to be Gaza, although I think there's probably too many buildings still standing for it to be a proper representation of what has happened to much of that territory. There's an adult to the right of the child attempting to either comfort or caution him, and to the left there is a fighter holding a machine gun, and that is how the film opens. And Gaza then appears in big green letters at the top of the screen. It cuts quickly to footage of some women sort of rifling through what look like scraps or soil, presumably in pursuit of food, and then more footage of men walking through this rubble-strewn thoroughfare, obviously designed to represent the aftermath of the Israeli bombardment. There's a child running through the streets, pursued by a fighter in what appears to be sort of quasi-military garb. And then we cut back to the original child, whose hands are being held by two men, one on each side, and the question, what next, appears at the top of the screen. They then walk through a CGI-generated tunnel and come out on a beach that has been created by CGI, but looks, most like a sort of combination of Miami and Dubai, only one of which I have visited. And so the child walks through this tunnel, two children and a woman walk through the tunnel, come out on the other side. Well, this bit looks more like Monte Carlo. So they're now in a palm tree dotted paradise, where extremely expensive cars drive up and down, and very smart looking restaurants and other hospitality sites. We're 10 seconds into a 34-second film, so don't worry, we're not going to be here forever. And then more children come pouring through this tunnel, rushing towards this curious Florida, Dubai mashup. There are markets on the street as well, and there's a picture of a bloke who looks oddly like Elon Musk, like a sort of elongated Elon Musk. Elongated, I don't know, is that his middle name? Like an elongated Elon Musk, appearing to eat what appears to be seafood. I can't quite tell. Maybe it's CGI generated, but something luxurious, no doubt, with a big smile on his face. Oh, delicious. And then you've got perhaps the strangest element of the film, which is some belly dancers doing what belly dancers do, wearing, skirts and bikini tops, or what, I don't know what the technical term is. But and that moment passes very, very quickly. So quickly, in fact, that you have to use pause to identify the fact that they've both got very long beards and breasts. So in Donald Trump's vision of Gaza, human beings with breasts and beards will be dancing all over the place. Make of that what you will. I don't even know where to start on that. And that's on second 16. If you doubt me, you're looking at around 15:50. On we go. Then there's another shot of, I think it might be supposed to represent some sort of minaret, but I wouldn't put my house on it. It could be a sort of attempt to recreate a Disney-style turret or tower. And then we cut to, if you think the bearded belly dancers were weird, we then cut to a child holding a balloon that is a big golden representation of Donald Trump's head. So there's a child standing in the middle of this territory holding a big golden balloon depicting Donald Trump's head. And then a cut to coastline with nice yachts and hotels and real estate. Then a cut to Donald Trump himself in a club of some sort, dancing with a woman wearing similar outfits to the belly dancers, but without a beard. Dancing is probably pushing it. He's just sort of leering at her, really, is the only way I can think to describe it. Then you cut to some more footage of a man dancing on a beach while being showered with money. And then some children on a beach being showered with money. And then a big hotel called Trump Gaza, which deliberately or otherwise looks almost identical to the hotel that Biff Tannen opened in Back to the Future 3. I mean, frame for frame, it could be the same image. And remember, the people that wrote Back to the Future 3 said that they based Biff Tannen's character on Donald Trump, long before he had any political ambitions at all. You won't believe me on that. Fact check me. Go on. Back to the Future 2 it was, I beg your pardon, not the one in the Wild West. The one, there you go, Keith just fact-checked me. See how easy it is? It was the one in the fictional future. So then you've got the Trump Gaza Hotel, essentially him saying one of the things that this mad dream involves is me making lots and lots of money. And that is almost it. Then we cut back to the bloke who looks a bit like an elongated Elon Musk. This time he's eating hummus. Can't quite work out what he's dipping into the hummus. It looks suspiciously hairy, but then again, so did the belly dancers. And another shot of a street. And then, do you remember that enormous statue of Saddam Hussein that was pulled down in towards the end of the Iraq War? And they kind of pulled down that really massive statue, and the population was celebrating. Well, now imagine a statue that's bigger than that and made of gold and featuring Donald Trump. Got it? Yeah, that's close to the final scene of the film, but there's still a few seconds left. We then cut, and I just need to rewind this because even in the context of what we've just been watching, I can't quite believe my ears. We then cut to a shop in which you can buy golden statuettes of Donald Trump. I tell you what, given how popular he is with Christians of a certain hue and how characters like Nigel Farage bang on about Judeo-Christian culture as a sort of camouflage for something rather more sinister. It's a good job there's nothing in the Bible about worshipping false idols, isn't there? Because that would be really as if they're capable of embarrassment. So now you can buy a little golden idol of the cult leader under the phrase Trump Gaza, and then there's just lots of gold stuff in shot. And then there is that does definitely look like Elon Musk. That can't be an accident. And then there is another shot of the elongated Elon Musk walking through a street while money showers down upon him. And then, remarkably, I mean, because it's unflattering, there is footage of Donald Trump and, is that Netanyahu? And Benjamin Netanyahu on a sunbed. And listen, people in glass houses can't throw stones, but they haven't used much technology to buff up their physiques, I think it's fair to say. It's a curiously sort of up-crotch shot of Trump, but he has posted this, and he's drinking what appears to be a large glass of Berocca vitamin supplement, although it may be something else. And they have Trump Gaza behind them, as if that is the hotel that they are staying in on their honeymoon, on their holiday, and that is the final shot. It cuts them back to an archway that you'd be quite familiar to if you've ever been to Morocco or anywhere like that, with Trump Gaza plastered across it in golden letters. And that is, in the context of politics, right? The stuff that we talk about together every day. In the context of politics, that is the maddest thing I have ever seen. I'm not going to criticize anyone. I haven't seen anyone yet, but anybody texting me to say, you've fallen into the trap, I can't believe you're talking about it. You really need to give your head a wobble. If you don't talk about this stuff, people don't know about it. If you don't talk about it, you never get to work it out or understand it or properly dismantle it. I don't know what the answer is to the question I'm about to ask you. And that's why it's so important to ask it. You don't know the answer. I've been told by my crack team, we think it's more Dubai than Morocco. I did say that at the outset, but you mean the arch at the end. Although they add, helpfully, because this is the kind of relationship that we have with each other on this program, we haven't been to Dubai, but we have been on Instagram. So I'm just happy to clear that one up. So here is the question I'm going to ask you. If you had a truth serum, okay, and I think you can forgive me for stepping into slightly surreal realms, given what I've just described to you. Think about this. This is important. If you had a truth serum and you could administer it to either Donald Trump or any of his key advisors, let's presume that he didn't post this independently. He might have done, but for the purposes of my mind game, you have other advisors in the room, and you said, what have you done? Or you said, what are you hoping to achieve? Or you said, why have you done this? Why have you made this? Why have you posted this? Why have you shared this? What would they say?